Alright, welcome back guys. Um, as I said before, we're going to be doing a 7-part tutorial. The tutorial will teach users from Aywas.com to make cool customs. We are working with the Monaku. I have not received a reply yet, but I do know well enough what is and what is not acceptable. So I'm just going to continue with what I was doing. Now we have the original lines that we think are going to stay, and the sketch, and, all that good stuff. But I'm going to put the, full original lines back, a little bit lower than that. Make a new folder, okay? Just remember when you are lining that you're going to want to change things up and not have them all placed onto the same area. Invisible person, yay, hello. You're not going to want to have them all in the same folder because eventually you're going to get confused and you're not going to know where you want to put things at. So, for example, we're going to start out with the faceplates and the scales and stuff. So, we have our sketch, which is kind of right now. Why won't you let me rename it? Oh no. Seems that my program wants to mess with me a little bit today. I'm sorry. Going on. We have what we're going to do here. Oh. What? What are you doing? Ha ha ha! That's what it was. Anyway, we have what we're going to do here. We're going to go off and we're going to make our scales. Now, I don't really want to use too much of the lines up because, this is supposed to be a free base for the users. I don't want to make it way too out of some people's league, but I don't want to make it too boring. So we're going to work out with this. Oh, what a tedious task. It's a hideous thing. Just build up the scales however you want to do it. I'm going to do it goofy. I'm a little bit goofy, you know. Try to make it to where it's going to be easier for you to shade, but not so confusing towards the visual eye. Visual eye, that's great. Oh no. I have to remember that I am also on a time limit for this because it was requested to be caught up and done. But, life. Okay, so we have that. Oh, goodness, this is just a sketch. Adjust where you see fit so you don't run into things like we just did. Because sometimes the sketch is not always right. You may think it is, but it's not. Just play around with it, make your own little thing. Remember, it's always best to do your own ideas, so don't go copying this, because that's just weird. Flattering, but weird. Alright, so we've got our basics down for the lines on the face scales. Hide that. Can make a new layer and set it for a hair. Now, at this point, you can either, take the original Monaku hair and just use that, which I highly suggest because they've got a new rule out that you cannot reline things without it coming off as weird. So, yeah. I think for right now we're just going to build on where we see it at, and then later on, go off and fix it the way we need to. So just build it here on the shoulders, give it some depth, make some fancy frou-frou hair strands or whatever you want to do. Me, I personally prefer braid if I'm going to be teaching people how to shade hair. Remember to always keep it to where, like, if your lines stray a bit, just erase, go back to what you were doing. It's as easy as that. Now for braids and stuff, it's kind of tricky. You learn it as time goes by. You really do. There really is no wrong or right way to do it, but just, you know, don't go off and try to make it look like a poo braid, literally. Braids don't work like that. Never should. Alright. Explore around with the, you know, curly cues at the end of it. A little bit of fun. Right now we are using the pen tool, by the way. If you did not notice that in the thingy, I do my sketches in marker. You know, it's lazy. Pen's more accurate, or you could just use ink pen. See? I prefer pen. Just plain pen. Now we got our hair down. That's 1 pixel. And we're going to get our feet down. Thankfully for us, the edit that we're doing isn't that big, so we don't have to fight too much with it. True fun's going to be in the shading. Let's see, we're at how many? 7 minutes out of our 10. Uh-oh. Alright. There's your hair. Like I said before, remember to delete the, you know, under layer here. Throw that in the trash bin. Get rid of it. Now you can go back to using your other Monaku lines here. But it's best to remember to delete what you do not need. It will make it so much easier on you. You don't necessarily have to have it to where, you know, you're showing the admin what's underneath the scales, because that will eventually get confusing. But at least have it to where they can see the difference. As you can clearly see right now, there's a very defined difference between, you know, the hair and the body and basically everything else that goes along with this piece. Gross. Monkey feet. Not exactly my fondest. And if you find that you've, you know, eaten a little piece of it, just fix it up. It's not going to hurt you. The only thing that's going to hurt you is if you don't fix it up, because you'll regret it later and you might hurt yourself. You know, you'll smack it on the head. Okay, so we've got down the basics of lining. This is the Monaku lines that we're going to be playing with. He looks interesting. Depressive even. Oh no. Okay, that was weird. There you go. That should work. I don't like exactly how the artist gave the front a heavy pull, but I'm not going to go off and correct that because it takes more out of our line edit area. So we're going to remember to Control S to save it. That saves it as the PNG. Remember to save it as the PSD. Don't make my mistakes. Save it as the PSD. Alright. And that covers the lining section of this tutorial. I am sorry the videos are so short, but YouTube has since changed their, you know, video length rulings. So I should be up with the next video within a few minutes. Thank you for coming.